The latest tourist revelation of Latin America is Colombia, or Locombia, as locals like to call it. Once associated with fear, cartels, and guerrilla conflict, the country also carries powerful legends of El Dorado and immense natural wealth. Long considered one of the most dangerous places on earth, Colombia has transformed itself and now invites travelers to discover a very different reality. Named after Christopher Columbus, who never actually set foot here, Colombia has worked hard to shed its troubled image. Drug cartels and armed groups have been largely dismantled, and today Colombians proudly welcome visitors. For those willing to explore its roads, the country offers authentic experiences, warm hospitality, and unforgettable journeys. Situated at the northern tip of South America, Colombia is the only country on the continent with coastlines on both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Its territory is divided into 5 major regions: the Caribbean and Pacific coasts, the Amazon and Orinoco rainforests, and the Andean Mountains, where most of the population and the largest cities are located. At the heart of the Andes lies Bogotá, the capital of Colombia. Founded in 1538 by Spanish conquistador Gonzalo Jiménez de Quesada, the city stands as the nation's political, economic, and cultural center. Once relatively small, Bogotá experienced rapid growth during the 20th century, and today nearly 10 million people live in its metropolitan area. Built on a high plateau and surrounded by mountains rising more than 3,000 meters, Bogotá blends history and modern life. The city stretches for dozens of kilometers and is organized around its central square, Plaza de Bolívar, where some of the most important institutions of the country are located. Bogotá reflects Colombia's ethnic diversity, shaped by indigenous peoples, Spanish colonists, Africans brought through slavery, and later European and Middle Eastern immigrants. Although the Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, Christianity remains dominant, particularly Catholicism, which is reflected in the many historic churches of the old city. Among the oldest is the Church of Veracruz, built shortly after the city's founding. Nearby stands the Church of San Francisco, considered the oldest and most emblematic church in Bogotá, famous for its richly decorated Baroque interior and golden altars. Plaza de Bolívar is surrounded by symbols of power and history, including Congress, the Supreme Court, and the Levano Palace, which has housed the City Hall since the early 20th century. Close by stands St. Bartholomew's College, founded in 1604, an institution that educated many presidents and influential figures in Colombian history. Dominating the square is the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception, built between the early 19th century on the site of earlier churches. Its interior reveals impressive columns, a luminous dome, and tombs of important religious and historical figures. La Candelaria, Bogotá's historic district, is the cultural heart of the city. Colorful colonial houses line narrow streets filled with museums, theaters, and libraries. One of the most famous is the Botero Museum, which displays works by Fernando Botero, the internationally renowned artist known for his rounded and expressive figures. Nearby, the Cristobal Colon Theater stands as Colombia's national theater. Built in neoclassical style and inaugurated in the late 19th century, it represents the country's deep appreciation for art, culture, and performance. In the 21st century, improved security and infrastructure helped tourism flourish beyond the capital. On the Caribbean coast lies Cartagena de Indias, one of Colombia's most iconic and visited cities. Founded in 1533, Cartagena became a vital port of the Spanish Empire. Heavily fortified, it served as a gateway to the Andes and a major center of trade, including the tragic slave trade, which brought immense wealth and deep scars to the city. Encircled by more than 12 kilometers of stone walls, Cartagena's old town remains remarkably preserved. These ramparts once defended the city from pirates and foreign powers, and today frame a vibrant historic center filled with plazas, churches, and colonial homes. Cartagena declared its independence from Spain in 1811. Today, millions of visitors explore its streets each year, while restored convents and palaces have been transformed into luxury hotels that blend colonial architecture with modern comfort. One of the most notable examples is the Santa Clara Hotel, once a 17th-century convent. During its restoration, hidden artifacts, crypts, and relics from pirate attacks were discovered within its walls, revealing layers of history. Religious heritage remains central to Cartagena's identity. The Church of San Pedro Claver honors the Jesuit priest who devoted his life to caring for enslaved Africans and became known as the Apostle of the Slaves. Nearby stands the Palace of the Inquisition, a powerful reminder of colonial repression. Once a site of torture and executions, it now serves as a museum documenting some of the darkest chapters of the city's past. Public squares such as Plaza Santo Domingo bring life to Cartagena. Here, locals and visitors gather near restaurants, street performers, and La Gordita, a famous sculpture by Fernando Botero that has become a symbol of the city. Walking through Cartagena reveals aristocratic mansions with carved wooden balconies and shaded courtyards, telling stories of wealth, ambition, and colonial power. One of the most impressive is the Casa de Pistagua, once the residence of a powerful count and now home to museums and cultural institutions. Museums throughout the city preserve memories of independence, naval battles, and national heroes such as Simon Bolivar, the liberator who played a decisive role in freeing much of South America from Spanish rule. Along the waterfront, the sea recalls Cartagena's turbulent past of pirate raids, wars, gold shipments, and slave ships. The echoes of history are never far away. Today, Cartagena is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and stands as one of the best preserved colonial cities in the Americas. Along with Bogotá, it reflects Colombia's resilience and transformation. From the Andean heights of Bogotá to the warm Caribbean shores of Cartagena, Colombia reveals itself as a land of contrast, culture, and rebirth. Once feared, now admired, it is a country rich in history, beauty, and human spirit, waiting to be explored.